in the East End have requested staff to begin doing some work, preliminary work, but it's very clear we need to do a systematic study of the Danforth that involves residents. None of the residents that are certainly in Ward 31 were involved in giving any kind of feedback related to the segment study, which will, no doubt, be relied upon, because that's not their role as part of this study. This is a study that was submitted at the request and at the of staff and to meet the official plan. But we need to do a study that involves our constituents so that we can better determine the kind of development, the face of development along the Danforth. We will see intensification on the Danforth. Yes, that is the official plan. Yes, I acknowledge that the majority of people in our neighborhood want to see good development on the Danforth. But it troubles me that the first two out in this section of the Danforth have failed to essentially meet the mid-rise guidelines. I'm also not convinced why it is we're using the short lot as opposed to the deep lot guidelines.
So I'd like you to wind up now, please.
So just to conclude, I mean, to be realistic, I understand what will happen if this were to go to the OMB. We have a staff position clearly here. I'm obviously not going to advocate that we refuse this application. The reality is it's here, it's supported by staff. But I think that I will vote against it as simply as a protest vote.
Councillor,
this kind of development.
I've given you extra time now.
Thank you.
Councillor McMahon.
Thank you. Sure. I have a motion. The clerks can put on the screen. So we, as I said, this application is new. It's new to the area. Our only experience with really development on the Danny, as I like to call it, term of endearment, is Carmelina, which some of you may or may not be aware. It was the big hole for 10 years due to an unfortunate fire, but we have a 12-story that was moved by my predecessor and supported most of you here. Okay.
Oh, yeah, we just see that. Where's your motion, Councillor?
Well, I'm waiting for clerk.
Okay, we just saw the building.
So Carmelina is a 12-story. It was supported by my predecessor. It's a block down the street. Many of you here supported it. This is a 10-story. So I'd like you to remember, if you have short-term memories of what you supported then. Density along the subway corridor is something we all push for in the city. It makes sense to have density on a subway corridor. Main Street, which is tickety-boo down the street, is a transit hub. You have the GO station. You have streetcars, subways, and buses. The developer has made concessions. It's not 100% ideal. It never is. I had experienced my first year into the job of opposing two developments and losing both, basically, and one of my communities being $75,000 in the hole at the OMB. So I'm not going to lead my residents on that they can go to the OMB and win. It's pretty much in compliance with the mid-rise. Sure, they'd be great to have a little bit more tweaking. It's on a site where there's this dilapidated old building, Moorish auction sales, and there was a tire fire a few years back. So by and large, I think the community wants something. What I'm hearing, they want something there, with just argument over what exactly. But we door knocked extensively in the area. I live in the area, out of the area for any conflict. But what I heard, number one, was parking. People are very worried about parking. So this motion addresses it and takes the address out of the parking zone. My approach is pragmatic and realistic, and we're going to deal with traffic was dealt with. We can continue to monitor traffic. Parking concerns dealt with here. Privacy issues, we will continue to deal with that site plan, and I would ask for your support. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? I'm just going to say that, yes, I probably did vote for the 12-story Carmelina, and I think it was very much opposed in the community, as you well know, and was the subject of a lot of opposition in the neighborhood, including, so I think that over the last number of years, people are starting to understand that the mid-rise guidelines are not reflective of any zoning guidelines, and that the developers continually say, well, mid-rise is this high, and now I'm going to add on the mid-rise. And that is one of the issues that I have with mid-rise, and I hope that's going to be acknowledged and dealt with at, in our mid-rise study. That is not the starting point. It's supposed to be your envelope. And it's one of the reasons why we took Queen Street out of the mid-rise guidelines studies, mid-rise guidelines last time. So it wasn't starting at 20 meters, but you had to earn your way to 20 meters. So that is just, I think that having been here for a while, you start to see things in a little different aspect. What is the saw-off? Where's the sweet spot? And it's somewhere with the mid-rise guidelines, but it's very unfortunate that constantly that is what's taken as the starting point rather than the place that we're getting to. And I've noticed that that's happening a lot, so it's of great concern to me in general. Any other speakers? No? Okay. Councillor McMahon?
So I'd like to move staff.
Sorry, you have, Councillor, you're moving the staff recommendations, and Councillor Davis has a, first of all, here's the one to remove this site. It's the Fletcher Amendment. You're very welcome to use it. Remove this site from permit parking area 9A. All right, all those in favor of removal? Hello, I'm taking, Councillor Bailão. Favor of removal from permit parking 9A? Thank you. You're not very enthusiastic on removing this from the permit parking area. I think you should be more enthusiastic. And then Councillor Davis has one to continue to work through the site plan process, include greater horizontal and vertical articulation. All those in favor? Opposed? That's carried. And then on the main motion, which is the staff recommendations, all those in favor? Opposed? And that's carried. Thank you. That was item 15. I just want